The next section is the foundation rail. This is a very basic beginning portion of any closet. What we're going to want to do is find every stud space, mark it on the wall. It's best to mark at just below 38 inches and make all your marks and all of your test holes to find the studs, because 38 inches would be the top of your first foundation rail. And it's always good with a stud finder after that to actually put in a screw to make sure you've actually hit the stud solid. It's a lot easier to experiment on the drywall or plaster and not on the finished product. Once we've established where the studs are, you can just transpose those marks onto the foundation rail. In the installation packet, you'll find an 1/8 inch pre-drill bit, which is perfect for the trim head screw that we use to mount the foundation rail to the wall. I find that it works best to start the screws in every one of the pre-drilled holes, so you're not fumbling for screws when you're holding a piece up in the air. Makes it very easy. Now, if you're doing an open end space, like we showed in the first video, and it's not wall to wall, you're going to want to create a wall by using our end cap. It covers the raw piece of wood as well as it's got an added function. It'll actually hold the partition from sliding off the end. This first section that we're setting a foundation rail for illustration is wall on the right, open on the left. We want to put the screws in every stud space. It's best when you're setting foundation rail to set one in the middle so you can tilt left or right to accommodate the level. The screw on the left here, notice it's about 6 inches from the end. You always want to have, if it's open, to be no more than 6 inches from the stud. That way you got very sound, secure foundation rail. If we were a 16 or 18 inches away, the foundation rail could actually bend a little bit. We don't want that to happen. Now when you're setting the foundation rail, all you have to do is set one level. We've taken all the rest of the work out of it by using our spacer stick that we provide with every closet. Makes it very simple to mark or to screw every screw exactly in the location it needs to be. Again, just like building a home, if you don't have a good foundation, everything else sits on and depends on that. By us providing a spacer stick, it ensures that our foundation rails are exactly where they need to be. When you're installing the foundation rails, the bottom rail should go up and the top rail should come down. Unlike most manufacturers, if you already have an existing closet and you decide you want to add additional space, you don't have to take the existing closet down. Our foundation rail fits below and above. So it's very simple to just go off that existing space using a level, set the first portion, and again just use our spacer stick to set the top. It'll neatly just set on top. Set one space at a time, and you can feel by putting in the screw that you're actually hitting the stud space. Now once we set this last screw, we're able to start an adjacent wall on an existing space. This next section is wall to wall. If you watch the wall to wall video, you may have already seen this, but if you're reviewing for this tab just to look at the basic foundation rail, what you need to actually do in a wall to wall space, our rail comes 8 foot long. You're going to want to figure your first piece, what you can get out of 8 feet, and make sure that it actually ends on a stud space. Your splices all want to be on a stud because this is the foundation. When you're doing the sample screw into the drywall, make sure that you, where it's spliced at, that you actually do find the exact center of the stud, because you're going to have 2 screws, one from this foundation rail and one from the adjacent foundation rail, both hitting the stud. You can see the mark on the wall there is indicating the center of the stud location. Now that we're splicing on this stud, we can just use a level as a straight edge from A to B to set the last section of the foundation rail. Again, just a simple reminder, the foundation rail always has the groove up on the bottom and the groove down on the top, because that's what holds the partitions. Or if it's simpler for you to keep track of the wider space up and the wider space down, because we actually do have a dado in the foundation rail for you to set the screws, so you can know exactly where to place them. Just fits right in the groove. Also, if you don't recess that screw all the way flush with the surface of the foundation rail, the dado makes it where you won't catch that screw with your fingers when you're sliding partitions across.